Okay, for today's lesson, I'm gonna start reviewing for the 6 weeks test, your CPA. Before I start that, I'm gonna show you some of the stuff that some of you were having trouble. And the main thing about percents when you set up a proportion in percents is to make sure that you understand that it's always gonna be like a part base percent 100. What does that mean? It's real simple, guys. The percent, like for example, in this case, the percent of 15 is $9. So the percent is the one that is the unknown. That's why he'll get the X. So if I had this problem, and that's the main thing you need to know, how, like read carefully and then label the stuff. Okay. So let me just get a pen right now. Get a pen. There we go. So if you notice the unknown, so the unknown, this guy, the unknown in this case is the percent. So I know that automatically I'm going to go X out of 100. Okay. And this is going to be the percent of whatever it is. If it's a story prompt, you need to read the story. The 100 would be the total. Now on the other side, we have what's called a base. The base, let me get the base, this guy, that one, I'll try another pen and get pink. The base, that one always follows the word of. So basically the base would be the whole, the total of the other one. Okay, so automatically I know that one's going to be on the bottom. And then in this case is $9. That would be the part of the $15. So that means that would be the top. So once you know how to set them up, then it should be pretty easy. So sometimes the unknown is going to be that they want the percent. The question says, what is the percent? Sometimes, and then you do your cross multiply 15 times P, whatever. We usually use X and then divide by 15, and that's how you find that P, which is 60 out of 100, that would be the 60% of 15 is $9. Okay. Now, sometimes the unknown is going to be the part. Okay. And again, the key of how do I know who's the part and who's the base? So let me go over this one first. So in this case, let me get the pen. Let me make it thicker. Pink. Okay. In this case, the number, okay, that's the unknown. So I know it's going to be 30%. As soon as you see that they already gave you the percent, I'm quickly going to go out of 100. And the 30 will be on the top because that's the percent. This will be the total. Okay. The word of, that's usually your base, which means the other total, 150. And then we don't know this time the number, like the part of the 150, we don't know that. That's what they want. And then you do your cross multiply, your cross products, 15 times X or 15 times P, and then 9 times 100 divided by 15, and you'll find it again. So like I said, in this case, the unknown was the percent. In this case, the unknown was the part. Okay, and then finally we have this guy. This guy. So they gave you the part, the percent, and this time they want to know of. Like I said, the word of tells you that that's the base. That's the key. Okay. So in the word problems that you had, that's what you had to do this week. Okay. So the other thing that I showed you, that I shared with you, was a visual. So let me open that guy. Classroom. So what I did for you, I shared there's a video of course, but I shared these images. Okay. So if you notice, percent is the number with a percentage sign. So it's always out of 100, the number on top would be the percent. The part is the number with the word is, and the whole is the number with the word of. Usually that's the way they have them. I also shared the other one. Okay, same thing. The variable is the unknown, what they're asking you. It's only gonna be these three things, guys. Either they want the part, which is the is, or they want the whole, the of, or they want the percent, which is the x out of 100 whenever they say what is the percent. So that's what you should be doing with these problems. We're done with that. Now I'm gonna give you for Thursday, Friday, and the weekend for you to study for your 6 weeks test. Now I want to remind you that we are tracking that on the tracker. So your tracker, for example, all of you have your goal already, and you need to make sure that you go in there when you have a chance. Go in there. So I'm using like Janelle's here, and make sure that we're going to do the 4 6 weeks. Okay. So you're gonna do this guy. We're skipping CPA 4. We're going to do this guy. You need to enter the goal that I gave you, which is leave it the same 80. Like in her case, it's gonna be 86, and then we'll see what she scores. Hopefully, she does score higher than 86. So you need to go to your tracker. Next week, we're gonna take the test CPA for 4 6 weeks, and she needs to put here her goal 86, and then the CPA score. We'll see when she actually takes the thing. So don't forget to go to your tracker, to the CPA, and make sure that you punch in your goal. And then once we take the test, we'll find out if you met your goal. Okay. Now, how am I gonna meet my goals? Real simple. I better watch the videos. I better watch the video that I'm gonna create right now. So let me start with the actual problem. So I'm gonna do one like I always do. You're gonna do one. So I'm doing the harder one. Okay. And this one, they want us to, let me read. It says a Great Dane weighs 180.5 pounds. How many ounces does a Great Dane weigh? So basically, they give it to me in pounds. The question wants it in ounces. So in that case, I'm going to have to go to my math chart. In the star, you're going to have a math chart that looks like this. And math, 6th grade. And even look it up in the... I will have it there for you. So it will be this guy here. So I'll have this for you. Okay, page 1 is basically your area formulas, which I'm going to be teaching that very soon. And right now we need this guy, the conversion chart. So you'll have this one on the computer too when I assign the work for tomorrow. And our question again wanted for us to go from pounds to ounces. So if I look at my chart, we have here pounds to ounces. So we have 1 pound equals 16 ounces. So again, I'm going to set up a proportion. That's why I'm pushing the idea of proportionality. Okay, so it's going to be pounds to ounces. Go to your chart. The chart says that 1 pound equals 16 ounces. So I'm going to put here 1 pound is 16 ounces. So your first step, guys, is to just go to the chart and label whatever the chart says pounds to ounces. And now the proportion. Set up the proportion. Now here's where I'm going to decide where I'm going to put that. Because they gave me the pounds. They want the ounces. Since they want the ounces, this is the unknown. The unknown, I'm going to call it X. They gave me the pounds, so I'm going to put that one on the top. Again, your first job is, let me do it with a highlighter. Your first job is this right here. And this comes from the chart. What chart? This chart right there. I got it from here. That's your job number 1. Okay. Once you set up that, then from the store, you're going to decide where to put it. Since they gave me pounds, pounds is on the top. I put on the top. They want the ounces. That's the question. That's the unknown. That would be the X. And then we just start. 1 times X. Let me get my pen. 1 times X cross multiply would be 1X. Which in that case, guys, when it's 1 times X, you could actually just call it X. And you don't have to even do 1X. I mean, it's just X. Because you're multiplying by 1. You want to do that, you can put 1X and then divide by 1. But that's just an extra step that you don't have to, because 1 times X is just X. Then 16 times 180.5. Okay, so I'm going to go to the side. Now remember that when you're multiplying decimals, you can just take it away for now and multiply like if they're wholes. Why? Because wholes are easy, so it's easier for you to kind of like multiply them. So whenever you're working with whole numbers, it's much easier just to drop it for now. When you're multiplying, you can do this. Then you have to add it at the end. Right now, I'll tell you how to add it. This is from elementary also. 5 times 6 would be 30. 6 times 0 would be 0, plus 3 would be 3. 6 times 8 would be 48. 6 times 1 would be 6, plus 4 would be 10. Get rid of those. You already used them. Get rid of those. The 6, you're done with it. Scratch it out and put a 0. Don't forget, scratch it out and put a 0, because we're going to the tens place now. 1 times 5, 5. 1 times 0, 0. 1 times 8, 8. 1 times 1, 1. Then we add them up. 0, 8, 8, 8, 2. So right now the answer looks like 28,880, but we did have 1 in the decimal side, so I have to go 1 back. So really the final answer is X equals 2,888 pounds. I mean ounces, sorry. Ounces, because they wanted it in ounces, which would be letter C. So that's the way you convert from one unit of measurement to the other. The one that you're going to do, you're going from feet to inches. So you go to your chart, and the only one that goes from feet to inches is right there. So that's going to be your first step. And then you do the rest like I just showed you. Okay, hopefully that's pretty easy. For your CPA, that should be question number 1. The question number 1 should ask you something like this. So make sure you practice, do number 2 on your own. This is going to be on teacher mate. I'll show you right now that you're a teacher mate how it's going to look. Now this one is tougher, so make sure you pay attention, please. I'm going to do number 4 this time. You're going to do number 3. A rectangular sign has the area of 8 square inches. The width of the sign is 36 inches. Which equation represents x, the length of the sign in inches? So you see all this, I'm just going to forget about it. I'm going to focus on my story. So they're saying that the area is 8 inches, 8 square inches. So you see area, 8 square inches. So really we don't know how many square inches, because they're giving me an unknown. Now the width is 36 inches. Okay, so now we know that the W is 36 inches. And then they want me to also find x, which would be the length that they did not tell me either. So basically I have 2 unknowns. I have the area and the length, which is fine. That's why you notice. So what am I going to do? First of all, anytime that we're dealing with area, we're going to go to the chart again. But in this case, we're going to go to the first page. Okay. Now if you notice in this page, let me zoom a little bit more. We have the area of a triangle, the area of a rectangle or parallelogram, the area of a trapezoid, and the area of the volume of the rectangular prism. Since they want the area of a rectangular, you see rectangular sign, I need to use this formula. Rectangle, they want the area, so I'm going to use this one. A equals base times height. So that's your first job, guys, to go get the formula. So I'm going to go get the formula. A equals base times height. Okay, now they did not tell me how much the area is worth, so I'm going to keep it as an A. They did not tell me how much the length is, which the length usually is the height, so I'll keep it as an H. They did tell me about 36, so it's 36H. So right now this is the answer, A equals 36H. If you notice, none of them match that. But I can already say, you know what? This deals with multiply, so for sure letter A is dumb, that's adding, and letter C would be dumb, that's also adding. It has to be one of these two. And you're probably wondering, but the problem is that they are dividing. Yeah, well, we can change this to division because the point of this is we need to put all the letters. We need to decide what are we solving for. So we're solving for the length. Like I said, the length, let me make the note here for you. The width usually is your base. And the length usually is your height. So right now we have this algebraic equation. A equals 36h, which means 36 times h. Since we're trying to find height, which is a length, which is called x here, I need to leave x or h, in this case, all by itself. So, ¿quién está de metichón? 36. So how do I get rid of the 36? Well, we do the inverse. Sat m comes into the picture. Sat m will come into the picture, guys. Okay? We're trying to leave h by itself because that's what they're asking for. So whatever they're asking for needs to be by itself. So to get rid of this, which is a multiplication problem, I'm going to do the inverse. The inverse is to divide. So divide by 36. This cancels. What you do to one side, you do to the other. Now, my work right now will look like this. This cancels, so who's by himself now? H. That's awesome. That's what we want H to be by itself. And then A, I never knew what A was, so I'm going to keep it as an A. 36 went to the other side. So right now the answer looks like this. A divided by 36 equals H. If you look at this one, A divided by 36 equals X. Well, X is the length, which is the height, so that looks like a good answer. This one has a reverse, so for sure that's not the answer. The answer would be B. Okay? So again, in these, when you have two variables, the key is to leave the variable that they're asking you for by itself. Since they're asking me about the length, which we know is the height, we had to leave the h by itself. So we had to get rid of the metiche of 36 by doing sat m, the inverse operation, which is to divide by 36, which you do to one side, you do to the other. You'll be doing the same thing with this one. If you need help, Mr. Ramirez can help you because this is a tough one too. But instead of a rectangular formula, it's going to be a triangular. To be honest, more than likely in the CPA, I am going to ask you with a rectangular. Okay? It's the first time that you're going to deal with these. The next question. The next question deals with perimeter. Okay? So, I'll do, I guess, I'll just do number 5. You take your number 6. It doesn't really matter. The perimeter of a triangle is 161 units. The combined length of two sides of the triangle is 108 units. What is the length of the third side of the triangle in units? Well, perimeter, anytime that you see perimeter, you will not have a formula. There's nothing here about perimeter. But I just want you to remember from elementary. Perimeter is the distance all around. So usually in perimeter, we add all sides. We add all sides when we're dealing with perimeter because it's just the distance going on around. So what I would quickly do in this case, they already told me that it's a triangle, so I would just draw one. I mean, it doesn't matter. Just draw a triangle. Okay? And like I said, they already told me that the perimeter, the P, is already 161. That means that if I go from, let me get another pen. If I go from here to here, and then this way and measure with a ruler, and then a little bit more, and then this way and measure with a ruler, The total would be 161 because that's my perimeter. So basically, let me do that again. If I would get my ruler and I would measure from here to here, then I would measure again. Let me see. Oops. I would measure all the sides. That should equal 161. Okay, that's what it should equal, 161. So if I measure from, let me get a pen again. Pen. So if I would measure from, if I would measure from this point to this point, and then measure from this point to this point with my ruler, and then measure from this point to this point, that should be 161 because perimeter is the distance going all around. That's what perimeter is. Okay. Now I'll continue reading now. The combined length of the two sides of the triangle is 108. So they're telling you that, you know what, two of them together will give me 108 units. So now I'm going to get another color pen. Let me get another one. I'll get blue, purple. Now they're saying this. They're saying, you know what, if you measure two of the sides from here to here, and then from here to here, that would give you 108. So two of the sides together combined means two of them equal 108. Okay, so they want to find the third side. So the third side, side 3, third side is x, the unknown. We don't know this side. So I know that the total is 161. I already know these two sides. So what can I do? Was get rid of those two sides so we can find the third side. So how do you get rid of it? You subtract 161. Get rid of the two sides that you already know, 108. And that would give me 53 units. So x should be 53. Okay? We just want to find this side, right? I already know these two sides, which was 108. I know that the whole thing is 161. So we get rid of what we know, and whatever's left is the third side. This is for perimeter. Perimeter is always P equals add all sides. In this case, there was three sides, but they were nice. They gave me two. I need to find the third. You could have also guessed and check. I mean, letter B is dumb. It's going over the total. Letter A is dumb. It's going over the total. And even letter D is dumb. It's going over the total. So just by thinking logically and knowing that perimeter is adding all the three sides together, well, you know that the third side can be more than the three sides together. So all of them are dumb just by doing that. Of course, I do want to see the work. I recommend that anytime that they're dealing with perimeter, that you draw the stuff. You draw the triangle, you draw the square, because perimeter is distance going around. So at all sides. You're gonna do number 6. You will have a question like this in the CPA. So if you practice and study the video and watch every single step, you should do good in the benchmark. Okay, the next one is number 7. Okay, I'm going to do number 7. You're gonna do number 8. Okay. So it says which expression is equivalent. Anytime that they want expressions that are equivalent, you should be thinking of the properties that we learned. Uh, and what I would do is I would quickly write my properties. We have the commutative. The commutative is changing the order. And I told you to think of chorizo and egg. C. Chorizo and egg, egg chorizo. So I'm going to go check if they're just changing the order, like if they're changing. And you can do this for multiply, and you can do it for the add. I'm sorry. There's no commutative property of subtraction or division. So that's one of the properties we learned. The other property that we learned the associative. And that one better be everything add or everything multiply. And that's when we move the parentheses from one side to the other. That's why we said that the associative. Okay. Then we have the distributive that I did not talk to you about. We have also the identity property of 0, the identity property of 1. That's anything you multiply by 1 stays the same. Anything you add by 0 stays the same. Now let's pretend that you're all lost. You're like, no, no entiendo the properties. If you have one variable only, what I recommend you can do is change that variable to 2. All the z's will be changed to a 2. We had talked to you about that last time, or in this case, the x. So it's still the same thing, 2. Okay? Now, if you notice here, I know I'm going to multiply 2 times 8 first. I'm going to go check which one does that. Well, letter A does 2 times 18, so that looks already bad. Letter B does 18 times 2. That looks bad too. Letter C does 8 times 2. And you're probably thinking, no, but it's doing plus. Yeah, but the order of operation tells me that I am going to multiply first. So letter C right now looks good. It's matching what I'm doing. Okay? And letter D is multiplying 2 times 18. So the answer is going to be C. Okay? 8 times 2 would be 16 plus 18. If you notice here, it would be 16 and then plus 18. So without even me doing the properties, I can figure this out by changing the variables to the number 2. Okay, I told you last time that you can do that we like to use the 2 or the 5 or the 10 is my favorite numbers to use. I prefer 2. 2 usually takes care of business. So if I forgot how to do the properties, I can change all my variables to 2, the one from the question also, and then we can start kind of like doing the order of operations. So 2 times 8 was 16, so now I'm going to check 2 times 18, that's not going to work out. 2 times 18, this guy is, I mean, he's on drugs or something. It's even a minus, even worse. There's no minus here. So this is the dumbest of them all. Okay. Um, Again, this one you're probably thinking sure, but 8 times 2, but there's also plus. Yeah, but there's a plus there. And the order of operation tells you that multiply will go before add. So that's why this one really matches this. All they did, they got rid of the parentheses. And really what the property that they're using, in case you want to know, they're using the commutative. Because they're changing the order from Z and 8. They went to 8 and X. They just switched chorizo, egg chorizo. So the property that was being used was a commutative property because they just switched the order. Okay, all the other ones are done. So what I recommend is if you're confused with your properties and they give you an algebraic expression with variables like the x, just change the x to 2, this x to 2, 2, 2, 2, and then start solving using the order of operations PEMDAS and check which one will match yours. Okay, you will have one like this also. I think they're really simple. I think the strategy should be change the variable to 2 and then just change them all to 2, to 2, to 2, to 2, and make sure that you start your order of operations and check which one will match yours. If you notice, if I would have done this one, let me do this one on the side. 8 times, it was x, doesn't matter, plus 18. We changed it to 2. Okay, this guy would go first. 8 times 2 is 16. And if you notice, now you can see that they're equivalent. Of course, all they did, they changed the order. The 8 was second. Now the 8 is first. That is allowed because of the commutative property of multiplication. Okay? Really easy question. You will have one like that in the CPA again. The next one is another one like that one. I'll do number 9. You'll do. Don't forget, you need to do number 8 by yourself. Number 9, again, I see a bunch of Y's, 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 Y's. Over here, you're going to see the V's. So again, I'm going to change that variable to a 2. That will make it easier. So let me go here and I'm going to use that strategy. You could also do your properties. Okay. So let's say we have y minus 1/5 times 5. So the y, I'm going to change it to a 2 minus 1/5 times 5. Okay. What I recommend you do is you first solve this guy and then we'll figure out what's going on over here. So Order of operation tells me that I need to multiply before subtract, so I'm going to take care of these two first. So I'm going to go to the side. 1/5 times 5. I need to put a 1 in the bottom. I need to put a 1. Don't forget that. So 1/5 times 5 would be 5. 5 times 1 would be 5. Which basically means that it's what? 1. So we have 1. 2 minus 1. Now, I mean, you can just finish it. 2 minus 1 would be 1. Positive or negative? Positive because the highest absolute value. Now, did I ever do y minus 0? Did anything ever become a 0? Of course not. Did everything become a 1? Yeah, I saw a 1 right there. And was the y what? The y was what? The y was 2. So you know what? Letter B looks good. Did we ever have 4/5 anywhere here? Nowhere did we have 4/5. Come on. Now, did I multiply 2 times 5 first? Nowhere did I multiply 2 times 5. We subtracted with the 2. We never multiplied 2 times 5, so this guy is dumb. So the answer is B. And you can check it. You can go, okay, let me check if it's true. Y minus 1, we're going to change the y to a 1 number to a 2. Boom, it already matches. You can see that it's matching. 2 minus 1 will be 1. Absolute value is positive. Boom. So I recommend that you do that. I recommend that if you have the key is that they'll use this expression equivalent. Anytime that you see that in the star expression equivalent and you have algebraic expressions with a variable like y, I recommend you change that y, that x, that z, whatever the heck the letter is, to a 2. Solve the 1 from the question first, and then start eliminating the dumb ones. Like I quickly got rid of 0 because never did I have a 0 there. Y minus 1, yeah, I had a minus 1. There it is. So maybe that's the answer. And then we said that y was who? Y was 2. So you know what? That looks not bad at all. And then once you check it, you're going to see that it is going to be equivalent. Anyway, the way I did number 9, that's the way you're going to do number 10. So those V's are going to become 2's, 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 2's. Remember that when we do this strategy, you do have to follow the order of operations. You also have to follow your integer rules. So here we had a positive and a negative, and that's why the answer stayed positive, because 2 is the highest absolute value. So don't forget that if you're going to do the strategy of changing the variable to a number 2 and testing it that way, to make sure that you follow the order of operations. You will have, like I said, 2 of these. One that's pretty simple like the first one, and then you have a harder one like this guy. Okay, the next one is going to be you have to choose more than one choice, and they want to know which one can be written as an equation. Now, before I went to my surgery, I did talk about what is an equation. An equation usually uses the word is, okay, because it has equal. So as soon as I saw this word equation and they want me to write it in words, I know that this one equation has to have equal, and equal usually is. You have to be careful with one though. Okay, so I'm just going to transfer my words to numbers. You see that 3? Well, let me put 3 times, that means a parenthesis or a dot, k, that would be k, is equal 84. Boom. That looks like an equation because it has the equal sign. The word is was there, so that looks good. So letter A looks good. The next one, 9 plus R. So I'm going to go 9 plus R is, we said equation equal is means equal 47. Boom, another one. So we have 2 equations already. And that's what they want. They want 2 equations. Melanie wrote 2 equations. So that means that so far, probably these are the ones that Melanie wrote. The next one, this is a tricky one. So pay attention to what I'm going to tell you right now. 10, you see the word is, but it says 10 is less than. So this is really an inequality. Okay, we haven't learned that, but I'm just telling you. So it's going to be 10. You see the word is, you might think is equal, but because it says is less than, it's really an inequality. Is less than the product means times, so it's going to be 8 times d. So I can put this in parentheses, 8 times d. That looks like an A. Let me rewrite that because that looks ugly. D. There we go. So even though you had the word is, but because of the word less than, okay, again, it did have the word is, but because of the less than, it's really an equality. So it's saying 10 is less than 8 times D. So you have to, why 8 times D? Because the word product means times. So even though you think it might be 1, but it's not because, yes, they mentioned the word is, which means equal. Is means equal. But because they mentioned is less than, it's really comparing, which is an inequality. We'll talk about that very soon when I get back, God willing. Very soon I'm going to be back. Letter D, 2 times 0.28 plus y. So 2 times 0.28 plus y. I'm just reading 2, there's a 2, times, I could have done parentheses too, okay, maybe 1. 2 times 0.28 plus y. Never did they mention is 10, is something. So this is for sure not an equation. The last one, 7. So 7 minus 5 more than m. Now this one you have to be careful. More than m. 7 minus 5 more than n. Some of you might do this. More than m. There we go. So also it's not an equation. This one was not an equation, so the two ones that are equations would be A and B. Okay, 3k equals 8. 3 times a number equals 84. 9 plus a number equals 47. Okay, so these you have to read and start transferring to an equation, or like this would be an expression because they never mentioned this is called an expression. This is an inequality. This is also an inequality. Okay, so what's the difference between an expression and an equation is that the equation will have the equal sign, and the way you'll know it, they'll usually say is. Okay? The expression, they'll never mention the word is. The inequality, that's the tricky one. They'll say kind of like more than, less than, greater than. So those are like the greater than, less than sign. Greater than, less than. They might even have the greater than and equal, less than and equal. We'll talk about that later on. Okay, so the way I did number 11, you're going to take care of number 12. Okay. Oops. The next one, we have your order of operations. So I'm going to take care of number 13. We'll do number 14. So number 13, as soon as I saw that, I'm going to do order of operations. We also have to worry about the integer rule, so please be careful. So we have 8 minus 30 minus 5 plus 12. As soon as you see, okay, I have to subtract, and then add, you better do PEMDAS. PEMDAS, guys, please do your checklist. Who goes first? Parentheses. Who goes second? Exponents. Who goes third? Multiply or divide. Who goes fourth? Add or subtract. So we have parentheses. We have two of them. We have this guy and this guy. We go left to right, so he gets the carrier first. We have a minus. So what rule would it be? It will be rule 2. It will be diff. And what do we do when it's diff? We subtract. And who do we keep? The greatest absolute value. So 30 minus 8, you can go to the side. I'm going to do it mentally. 30 minus 8 would be 22. Positive or negative? It should be negative because 30 has the highest absolute value. I would keep it in parentheses so I know that that's a negative. And then what I like to do is I like to say, okay, I'm done with this guy with the first caret right there. I'm done with you. Everything else that you haven't touched has to come down. So you see that minus will come down. The negative 5 plus 12 close parenthesis will come down. Okay, go back to your checklist. We still have parentheses. We have this guy now. Guess what rule it is again? We have a negative and a positive, so I'm going to do rule 2 again, which is diff. And what do we do when they're different? We're going to subtract and keep the greatest absolute value. Guys, the more time you write it and say the rules, the more it's going to stay in your head for 7th grade, for pre-algebra, 8th grade, high school. So I'm going to subtract 12 minus 5. That would be 7. I need to decide if it's going to be positive or negative. In this case, it's going to be positive, so I can just leave it like that. I'll just leave it like that. I am done with this guy. Everything comes down. Negative 22 comes down. Then the minus 7 comes down. The last one is this one. This is the one that I worry a lot because some of you are going to want to subtract. But this guy would be a negative. And this guy, yeah, he was a positive, but because there's a minus there, he's really a negative. So now we need rule number 1, which is same. They're the same signs. Negative and negative. Yeah, he used to be positive because it was positive 7. Because there's a minus, he's really a negative. So negative and negative would be same. What do? We add and we keep. So we're not going to subtract. Some of you are not going to subtract because you don't want to listen to use the rule. So 22 plus 7 would be 29. So the answer is for sure 29. But since both of them are negatives, it says to add and keep a negative. The answer is B. Please be careful. Please be careful. So I have to do a diff here, then a diff again. But then here's where I worry. Some of you are going to want to subtract one more time when it actually, in reality, this guy is negative, this guy is negative. So when both of them are negatives, we do same, which is add and keep. Please be careful. You'll have one like that on the CPA, so you can practice number 14 by yourself. All this needs to be done on a sheet of paper. Okay? Next one. Our percentage problems. The ones that you guys are hating right now, or hopefully you get it now. During a 150-minute soccer game, Leslie spent 70% of the time playing as the goalie. What amount of the time in minutes did Leslie spend playing goalie? Okay, so we're going to check what amount of time Leslie spent goalie. So quickly, I noticed that they already told me that she spends 70% of the time goalie. So we already know that she's spending 70%. So they actually gave me the percent. So I'm going to quickly go 70 out of 100. The 100 is always your total in the percentage. Why did I put 100%? Is always at 100. What's the 70? That's the time that Leslie spent as a goalie. So I'm going to put here goalie. This 70 is the percent that she spent as a goalie. Set up your proportion. Now, the 150, during the 150-minute soccer game. So, obviously, this is the total because that's the whole soccer game. So, this 150 would be the total. So, 150 would go on the bottom. And then we have your x there. And then we just start our cross product. So 100 times x, 100x. 150 times 70. Remember that when you have zeros at the end, don't forget your equal sign. When you have zeros at the end, you can drop them right there. It's 15 times 7. You can go to the side. 15 times 7. That's 35. 7, 10, 105. So this would be 105. SATM tells you to divide by 100. What you do to one side, you do to the other, divided by 100. Oh, there's 2 zeros at the end. There's 2 zeros at the end over there, so I can drop 2 for 2. 105 divided by 1, so x equals 105 minutes. So Leslie spent 105 minutes as a goalie out of the 150. So the answer would be D. Guys, it's obvious. Look, so let's use logic too. The total game is 150 minutes, right? The percent is 70%, so it better be pretty close to 150. She almost spent most of the game playing. It can't be like these two are dumb already. It can't be that small because you're going, and it can be bigger than 150, by the way. I mean, if there was a dumb answer bigger than 150, that would be even done because this is small to big. But that 70%, that's most of the time. 70% is more than, guys, 50% of the time would be half of it. So obviously, she spent more than half, so it can't be these because these are not more than half. This is like way less than half of the total game. Okay. The key again is read what they gave me. If they give me the percent, it's going to be quickly out of 100. Label what it says. The total is always 100. The percent, whatever they're talking about. In this case, they're talking about the time. The percent is what she spent as a goalie right there. Okay. So that's why I put goalie. You could have put spent. Now the 150 is the total. Why? Because that's the game. That's the game. Okay. Now be careful. If this guy was in hours, we have to switch it to minutes because we can't have different units of measurements. So don't forget when we do proportions, it better be minutes, minutes. Like here, total. Spend time in minutes, spend time in minutes. Anyway, the way I did number 15, you're gonna do number 16. Okay, again, I'm giving you the percent. Read carefully. If the box contains that, that means that that's the total of marbles, but they're green, so be careful because they do want the total of the marbles. Just read, guys. The next one. The next one we have again some equivalent expressions, but this time there's no algebra. If you notice, there's no variables. Equivalent expression, equivalent. So in this case, we're just going to do PEMDAS, guys. I mean, they just want equivalent expressions, so we're going to go. Now, if you know your properties, it makes it easier, but look, 10 plus 8, okay? And you can already go check the first one. 10 plus 8 times 3. Where did I multiply by 3? Nowhere. That's dumb. Now 10 plus 2 to the third power. I need to check what the heck that means. 10 plus 8. Oh, there is 10 plus 8. But where did I go to the third power here? Nowhere. Now you're probably thinking, well, we never did that. Well, we need to check what that means. So right now B kind of matches, but we don't know what that means. We have to figure it out. None of these was once we check this guy, we can check if it's none of these. So I'm going to get that 10 plus 2 to the third power. And the only one that we need to figure out is this guy. What did I tell you about exponents? You go to the side. 2 to the third power. What does it mean? It means 2 times 2 times 2. Este numerito de arriba te dice cuántas veces lo escribas. 1, 2, 3. 3 veces lo escribes. Porque es lo que te dice ese número. Ahora ya que sabes que lo escribes 3 veces, multiplícalo. So 2 to the third power, that little exponent right there in the corner tells you how many times to write it. 1, 2, 3. And then we can start 2 times 2, that would be 4. Bring everything down. 4 times 2, that would be 8. Oh, so 2 to the third power means 8. 2 to the third power means 8. And guess what? We don't even have to finish. Boom. It matches. But some of you probably would have just said, oh, that doesn't make sense. Because if there's an 8, that's a 2. No, yes, we need to figure out. Guys, when you have exponents, you can't just say that doesn't make sense. You have to go figure out what that exponent means. 2 to the third power means 2 times 2 times 2. When you actually solve it, it means 8. So never just go with the I and say, oh, it doesn't match. Now, this one would be done because they're adding 10 plus 8 already, which is 10 plus 8. And then they want me to go to the third power. We never went to the third power after we added. This one is not done because I don't even know what it means until I actually do it. Then we figure, oh, it does mean that. Make sure that when you do these at home, that you're going to have to solve the exponent, and you have to go to the side on all of these to make sure which one matches yours. Okay, remember the order of operation also. In this case, this guy will go first. 2 times 8 will go first, and then plus. This guy, exponent, you have to go to the side and do what I just did. Okay? The way the number 17 is where you're going to do number 18, you will have one like this on the CPA again. Please watch the video, practice, study during the weekend because I want you to try to meet your goal. I want some hundreds already here. The next one, Jennifer worked a total of 72 hours. During a 2-week period, she worked 4.5 hours each day. Write an equation that can be solved to find D, the number of days Jennifer worked. So here you have to write an equation, but what I would do instead of writing an equation, first I would just try to solve it. So basically they want to know the number. Come on. They want to know the number of days Jennifer worked. Okay. Well, we know that she worked 72 hours already. So we have 72 hours, and that's the total. She worked that already, guys. She did this in 2 weeks. So she worked for 2 weeks. Okay. She worked 4.5 hours each day. So we have 4.5 each day. And they want to know how many days you did. Okay, so it's going to be 4.5. Each day means times. We don't know what the day is, so we're going to call it D equals 72. Okay, so there's my equation. 4.5 each day, 4.5 times D equals 72. Now, you could have also done, okay, I know it's going to be 72 divided by 4.5. That would give you the days. More than likely, they're probably going to want this one, but both of them should work, okay? These are the same thing. Because if you actually think about it, if you want to find out how many days, what we're going to do, SAT-M divided by 4.5 divided by, and it's going to look like this guy. So any of these are going to be it. Now, how do I know it was multiplied? Because you're working each day the same amount. Each day is 4.5, day 1, another day, 4.5, another day, 4.5, until you get to 72. So 4.5 times how many days to get to 72? Now, you actually want to solve this, we would do SAT-M divided by 4.5. That's how I got this one. So any of these would work. Of course, just punch in 1. This is when you have to create your equation. You have to punch it in that way using the equation editor. We know how to use that already. So it should be pretty easy for you. Now, the one that you're going to do at home, you also have to come up with the equation. So again, I would recommend that you first figure it out on your own and then go match it. Go match which one matches. Okay, but this time you have to just choose it. Questions? Hopefully none. If not, you ask Mr. Ramirez, because you can really ask me, or you can send me a message if you're confused. The next one we have, this is going to be a table with an information, but I'm going to actually do this one, okay? This guy is the same thing as this one, guys, okay? Except this is a table that goes vertically, this is a table that goes horizontally, but same thing. So I'm going to do number 22. You'll be doing number 21 for practice. Number 22, we have 12 donuts. That's the cost of the donuts, and it's for $30. Each donut costs the same amount, which table shows the relationship between the number of donuts bought and the total cost in dollars and cents. Okay, so let me tell you something. So here we actually have a ratio. I would set it up as a proportion, guys. As soon as I saw that they have relationship of tables, I like to set up as a proportion, but there's many ways. But I'm gonna do it proportionally. So I'm going to go ahead and get my pen, and it says that it's going to be donuts to cost. So I'm going to say D to C, which is cost. So the donuts we have 12, and the cost we have 30 equals blank. Okay. Now, look what it. The reason I like to do it this way, guys, is because I know it's a small to big. Donuts to cost should be small to big. So we look at letter A, donuts to cost, small to big, small to big, small to big, small to big. That looks good. Letter B, donuts to cost, small to big, small to big, small to big, small to big. That looks good. Donuts to cost, big to small, big to small, big to small, big to small. Dumb. Bye-bye. Big to small, big to dumb. Bye-bye. That's the reason I like to do it this way. As soon as I saw this relationship between donuts and cost, and they gave me a table with it, I'm going to quickly know that, okay, I can set up as a proportion. And this is the only way? No, but that's what I would do. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go with the easiest one. The easiest one would be obviously the one with a 1. So I'm going to say donuts is 1, so let's put a 1 there. And cost is 225, so I'm going to put 225 there. For this one, I'm going to set it up again. Donuts to cost, which is 12 to 30. But this time they want 1 and 250 on the bottom. Now there's no algebra here, there's no variable, so I'm just gonna multiply. 30 times 1, that would be 30. 2.25 times 12. I go to the side, so I can go to the side. 225 times 12. You notice I got rid of the decimal again because wholes are easier. 2 times 5 would be 10. 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5. 2 times 2 is, oh no, 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 no regrouping. Let me start again. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5. 2 times 2 is 4. No regrouping there, I don't know why. Let me get rid of that one. Small eraser, bye-bye to this guy. Okay, cross it out, put a 0, and we start again. 1 times 5 would be 5. 1 times 2 would be 2. 1 times 2 would be 2. All I'm doing is I'm multiplying 2 times 225, but I got rid of the decimal for now. 0, 10, 6, 7, 27. But we got rid of the 2 decimals. It's going to be 1, 2, so I have to go back. 1, 2. So I got $27. It does not match. 30 is not matching 27, so it's probably going to be this guy. Of course, Kobe Bryant, the great student like Sudi, or Daniel Ochoa, Natalie, Leah Castillo, Paulette, Chloe, all those great kids that are doing awesome. Melissa de la Fuente. There's so many. If I forgot somebody, sorry. But those kids would go ahead and actually check because they're going to score 100. 30 times 1 will be 30. 250 times 12. Again, I'm going to have to go to the side. 250 times 12. Got rid of the decimal for now. 2 times 0 would be 0. 2 times 5 would be 10. 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5. Cross it out, put a 0. 1 times 0, 0. 1 times 5, 5. 1 times 2, 2. So we have 3. Yes, no se me acabó el espacio. It'll be 30, guys. 3,000. Then 2. So it's 30 equals 30. Boom. The answer is B, not A. That's the way I would do this. Okay. Cross products, set up the proportion, and there you go. Okay. Now the other way you can do it is actually check, okay, how does a 1 become a 225 times 225? And then check if all of them match. Times 225 times 225 times 225. And then check if that's how this becomes a 30. Can 12 become 30 by 225? You can multiply 225 times 12 and see if it becomes 30. Same thing here. How does a 1 become a 250? Well, times 250. Okay, and then we can check can the 12 become a 30 times 250, and then that's the other way you can do this. I prefer just setting up as a proportion. Okay, and these two were just done at the beginning because it was small to big. This was big to small, so hopefully you're gonna do the same thing with these. Okay, there's a relationship word, there's a table. I'm gonna do a proportion out of this quickly. Okay, the next one is about independent dependent. um, I said X is always your independent. I said to think like if it's your ex-wife, ex-girlfriend, ex-boyfriend, they're independent from you. Your ex. And your Y will always be your dependent. Y depends on X. You can't forget that. Okay? Your independent is always your X. Your dependent is always your Y. So in this question, they want the independent. That would be the X. So those are the independents, 0.5, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3. The answer would be B. Now, if they wanted the dependent, then you would choose A. So you better remember that the X is your independent and your Y is your dependent. Basically, Y depends on X. X is independent. X is going to happen. Okay? And one way you can remember again, if you have an X, they're independent now. They can do whatever they want now because they're independent from you. Okay? Please don't forget that. Same thing, you're going to do the same thing here. This time they do want the dependent, so guess what? They want the y. Just look at your points and then go choose your answer. Okay? This answer, by the way, they wanted the independent, so it will be 0.5. It will be the 1, 1.5, 2, 2.53. So the answer obviously would be letter B in this case. Come on. Letter B. Okay? If they wanted the dependent, it would have been letter A. X is independent. Y is dependent. Do not forget, please. Okay. The next one. At a rock gym, the cost C to rent a pair of climbing shoes for H hours can be represented by the equation C equals 3H. Okay. Create a graph. This time they want you to create a graph. Well, guys, as soon as I saw C, come on, C equals 3H, I know it's multiplicative, guys. It's multiplicative because C equals 3H, so I know it has to be multiplied. And we said that whenever we're using multiply, it's going to go through what? Through the origin. So I know that one point that I can quickly put is going to be this guy. It's going through here. If it was an additive equation, then it would not go through the origin. Then I would have to figure it out. Now, we have to decide who's X, who's Y, obviously. Okay? So, X will represent the H, and Y represents the C. So you might want to do this. Y equals 3X. So the graph won't confuse you. Okay? I'm going to make a table here. And I'm going to take a guess. I'm going to take a guess to see, okay, what can X be? Okay? What can X be? So what I'm going to do is just say, okay, X and Y. We're going to start guessing. I'll say, you know what? Let's start with, obviously with 1. If X is 1, what's 3 times 1? 3. So Y would be 3. So if X is 1, Y would be 3. So another point would be right there. Let's go with another one, 2. If X is 2, what's 2 times 3? 6. Then Y would be 6. So 2, 6 right there. And of course, you would continue. I mean, they're going to want at least 2 points, guys. So once you have your 2 points, then the line should be creating on its own. Once you start clicking on the points, the line is going to start connecting the points. So the line is going to be something like that. And why did I start with 0, 0, guys? Because it was a multiplicative. That's why I started with 0, 0. Okay? And all I did is I created a table and I started substituting. Okay? And that's all I did. I just said, okay, let's put X as 1. Boom, that's the first number in your thing. 1, right? Well, if X is 1, what's 3 times 1? 3. That's how I got the other 3. If X is 2, what's 3 times 2? 6. That's how I got the 6. The next one would be if X is 3. 3 times 3 would be 9, so it would be over here. 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I'm right there. Okay. This would be an additive. Same thing, but now I know that it's not going to go to 0. So this one is a multiplicative, but it has decimals, so you have to be a little bit more careful with this one. But it's multiplicative, it's going to go to 0. Okay. So try these two, because there's something different. Okay. Remember that you're gonna write your equation. Like I'm gonna kind of like start it for you. Y equals X plus 10. I know it's not gonna go to 0, so don't put a point here because it's an additive relationship. But create your table already. X and what? Y. And just start guessing, guys. Start saying, you know what, let me start with 1. If X is 1, what's 1 plus 10? 1 plus 10 is what? 11, right? 1 plus 10 is 11. So I know it's going to be 1, 11, way over here. That's where I would put it. Okay? So this is a tougher one because I mean the graph stops at 6, but they won't give you that. I should have done x plus 2 or something like that. So like that it won't be that. So my bad. You don't have to do number 25. There. Don't worry about it. This one you do have to do it. Be careful because they are working with decimals. So, but for sure the 0 because it's multiplicative. So that one is quickly 1 right there. And then the next one, just be careful where you start putting it. Okay. We have this guy now. And we have this guy. So I'll do this one, okay? So you need 4 cups of flour. You need 4 cups of flour to make 64 tortillas. Complete the table to show the relationship between the number of cups of flour and the number of tortillas. Move the correct answer choices. Not all answers will be used. This is a drag and drop. But again, it's a table, there's a relationship. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly set up a proportion again. Okay. And we have cups, so I'm going to put cups on top and tortillas on the bottom. T. 4 cups. And then 64 tortillas. So there's my proportion. And once again, I would choose whichever you want. I'm going to go with 1. 1 is too easy. So a number of boxes. It should say cups, my bad. Cups, not boxes, but okay, cups. So the number of boxes, number of cups will be 1. So I'm going to put a 1 there. And then the marbles, it's not marbles, it's tortillas now. My bad, I forgot to change the labels. Es que mira, guys, yo invento los problemas. Estos marble boxes y lo aquí la regué, no le cambié la tipo. So this guy should be, I'm glad I'm doing it with you. This guy should really be, let me change it already here. Mr. Rivera. This guy should be cups. And this guy should not be marbles, it should have been tortillas. Sorry. Okay. So we have 1 cup, but the tortillas we don't have anything, so we're gonna call it x. And there we go. We started our problem again. 4 times x. 4x. 64 times 1. 64. How do I solve for x? Add m divided by 4. Cancel, divided by 4. Bottom out, you go to the side. 64 divided by 4. X equals 16. So this guy would be 16. See, once you find the first one, you can do your, from elementary, your input output. 1 times 16. 1 times 16 is 16. So 3 times 16, so would be the next one. So 3 times 16 would be 48. And then I could do this guy, 12 times 16, and get whatever it is, which will be 192. We go to the side. So once you find the first one, you can actually figure out the input output, the relationship, the function. 1 times 16 is 16. 3 times 16 is 48. 12 times 16 is 192. Now, if I want to go the other way, it would have to be divided by 16 now. So if I go 80 divided by 16, what would I get, right? So, of course, it's a drag and drop, guys. So you have to drag. Let me change it to not a pen. So you have to drag and drop. So like the 16 would drag it there. The 48 would drag right there. The 182 will drag, and this will be in your teacher mate. You know, you've done drag and drop before, so come on, where are you? There we go. In teacher mate, you should not have as much trouble as I'm having trouble. Come on. Oh, in teacher mate, you will not have that much trouble, you know. And in the start tampoco. So 182 right there. We're just missing these. Now we can already say 72 is dumb. It won't be that. So it has to be 9, 5, or 7. So once you divide 80 divided by 16, I'm gonna just use the calculator because I ran out of space. 80. Why am I dividing now? Because I'm going the inverse. The inverse of multiply to go the other way. I'm gonna divide. So 80 80 divided by 16, 5. So we're going to drag and drop 5 right there. Okay. So it's either going to be obviously 7 or 9. So I'm going to go 144 divided by 16. Don't guess. Just do your math. 144 divided by 16. Boom, 9. Aquí tengo. There we go. So again, I started with my proportion first. I got the one. Once I figure out my proportion, I know one answer, and then I can figure out the relationship, like elementary input output, the function. One, how does it become 16 times? It's a multiplicative, so 3 times 16, 5 times 16, 9 times 16, 12 times 16, they should all match. The way I did number 25, that's the way you're going to do the way I did number 20, well, I called them the same thing, my bad. The way I did this one, that's the way you're going to do that one. Okay, you're going to have to figure out, I would set up a proportion, mark those two boxes first, and then go with the two, and then figure out. Once you figure out the first one, you should be able to see the relationship and just attack it. Okay. Obviously, some of you know that this guy is real big, so the only one that's coming that's big, you can kind of like see some of them are like pretty easy to figure out, okay, who's going to be on here without even doing work. I don't recommend you do that, but that's the way you do it. In the story, it will look something like this. You're going to have to drag and drop them, but still you have to figure out the story in there. Okay. Well, that's the review for the CPA. If you guys really work hard and study this, um, if you really work hard and study this, you should do wonderful. Okay. Please work hard, study it. If you're confused when you start doing these problems tomorrow, Mr. Ramirez, make sure that you stay for tutorials, stay behind. Hey guys, I really miss you all. I can't wait to go back. I wanted to go back already. The doctor did not allow me. He said, no, you had surgery, sir. You can't go back. So actually, he wanted for me to stay away for 6 weeks. But thank God he saw me. He said that I look good. So he said 4 weeks. I'll let you go back with 4 weeks. You still have to be careful. So, but keep on praying for me, please, just to make sure that I continue recovering. It looks good so far, and hopefully I'll see you after Charros Days. Ipa. Okay. I really want to be in Charros Days there because I want to wear my Charros costume, but ni modo. So you enjoy your day. Enjoy Mr. Ramirez. I'm sure you're having fun with him. As a matter of fact, if you want to keep him, let me know and I'll talk to Mr. Villarreal and we can trade. He's enjoying you all. Okay, have a good one, and please, Thursday and Friday is your day to study, practice all these problems. Like actually do them. Like pause the video, do them on your own, then play the video. Pause the video, play the video. Pause the video, play the video. Like you have to work, you have to do it on a paper, and that's what I expect on the CPA. Okay, well, enjoy your Thursday and Friday, and don't fall behind. Some of you are failing, and I'm not changing grades. Some of you have such a low grade that now you are going to be in summer school. The only way that you're gonna get saved now is once I go back. I might make a deal with you and see what we can do, but I don't have to. It's on the policy. Okay, that's why I gave you that information here. Estamos con eso. First of all, I want your parents to know that I've been sending you messages every day. Messages, hasta una foto ahí de mí, con mi barro y todo. Okay, messages. Every day I've been sending you messages, even when I was right after surgery, que me cortaron ahí, para que me metieron 4 balazos. Okay? Here's the policy. So if your parents will have a problem with something, just click on it. It will take you to the policy. They can read it. That's where I'm making my decisions. And in this one, it clearly states that I don't have to be changing no grades, that if you're late, you're late. And I've been giving you many times. Everything is here. Okay? You don't want to do your work. It says there clearly that after certain days, you see makeup work, It's only for kids that are absent, not for kids that chose not to do their work. Okay, but I'm real nice to you all, and we try to make that. Now, I give you prearranged makeup tests or thing or work that you have may have received a zero. Okay, so it says any student that does not appear for prearranged makeup test, which is basically any student that does not turn in the stuff after I told you many times to do it, will receive a what? A zero. Okay, simple as that. Any missing work due to participation, I mean, if you're missing work, you have to also again take care of that. Okay, but at the end of the day, it does say that if you're not doing your work, uh, you will receive a what? A zero. No matter how much, no matter if you read, they're all going to say that. If you're absent, also same thing. Okay. Uh, Late work is defined as any work completed and turned in after the designated due date. You know that everything should be due by 7. I'm being nice to you and letting you even turn it in even late. But just do it, guys. I mean, come on. ¿Qué más? Just so you can see. That's homework. The purpose of homework is there if you want to read about that. But the purpose of homework is so you get to go practice your stuff. So you can go practice if you learn anything from the videos or from. And there's programs like if you're in special education, 504, dyslexia, bilingual, everything is here. Like, so everybody is under the same policy. Uh, Nobody says cheating, obviously, is automatically zero. Read that. Those that like to cheat, some of you are, hopefully, you're not cheating, guys. Um, Grading, right here is a grading. Okay, it tells you there clearly if you do not have a 70% or higher, you're going to be retained. There it is. Okay, you can't go on. What I've been telling you since the beginning, some of you that I tell you it's tests, those are 60% of your grade. So you can't say, I'm not going to do those. You have, those are the most important ones, the 60%. Those are your test grades. The other ones are 40%. Those are your minor assessments, your daily grades. Okay, so if you ever see something that I put tests, those are worth more. You have to do them. That's for high school. Anyway, everything is there. Okay. So your parents. So I am not gonna change grades. That's basically what I'm trying to tell you. I am not gonna change grades, especially because I send messages and I send you messages privately. Like I said, okay, this is your last chance. These kids me hicieron caso. Some of them did. Some of them didn't. This is a test. It's a test. Last chance, and you ignore me. So when at the end of the day, when you're gonna be retained or have to go to summer school, I will show your parents all these messages that I had sent you, and you chose not to do anything about them. Okay, and I've been sending them forever. So it's on the stream whenever you're confused. Also, obviously, I do get messages from you all on the actual work. So, for example, see, we have all these kids that haven't done. So basically, like here we have Tamara. Okay, so there's the message that I mean, I sorry Tamara that I'm showing messages for that you sent, but so like this one I haven't responded, so I'm gonna have to respond to Janelle. She's been absent, so of course she's confused. So she needs to save her tutorial, Janelle, if you're listening to the video. Okay. But basically everything is there. I don't know why some of you are not choosing to do your work. Okay. If we go to actual people, and let me just click, for example, on I don't know, Mia Brianna. Okay, we go to Brianna. I send her a message there. I send her a message there. I send her a message there. Two messages there. Sometimes I mean, my point now it's over. I need the money bags. That's what I really care about. Anything that's old, I'm not going to change it. You are going to suffer the consequence now, which is probably going to be a real low 4 6 weeks average. I already spoke to Ms. Villarreal and she's okay with it because I showed her what I have for you all. Please do not fall behind. Hopefully, one more week. Next week, you will be by yourself. It's going to be a short week. The CPA is what you're going to take. Very important test. Don't forget to go into your um, tracker. Don't forget to go to your tracker and put your goal, whatever goal I gave you the last time that I spoke to you. So make sure you go to your tracker, for example, fourth period, classwork, and go look for your tracker. Okay, go to your tracker, and make sure that you open it up. And if you can't do anything, unsubmit. You need to unsubmit. Okay, we're gonna do the 4 6 weeks, guys. Whatever gave you, that's what you put. So in this case, this kid, whomever it is, she's gonna put 81. Make sure you write your name and pre-written ID there on your tracker. Some of you haven't done that, but put your like she'll put 81 or he'll put 81, and then we'll see what that person scores. Hopefully, that person will score 100 or 90. Because I mean, I just made a video step by step, and for you to go practice. Okay. Anyway, have a good day. Enjoy Mr. Ramirez. If you enjoy him so much, well, we can trade. Right, Mr. Ramirez? Um, See you hopefully after Charles Days. Enjoy your Charles Days too. Please, please practice Thursday, Friday, study Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday you're taking your CPA for 6 weeks. CPA. We did not do that CPA 3 because I got sick and all that. So we're going to the for 6 weeks. That's the one that we're doing right now, which is the review that I just made. Okay, enough. Porque si nunca no me callo. It's a big video because it's for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for you to practice. Please, if you want to impress me and you're one of those that is failing, let's score high on this 6 weeks. Let's score high, and I'll be not as upset and disappointed as I am with some of you. And some of you, thank you. You guys are so awesome. I love those kids. I love those kids. You guys are awesome. The kids that have been responsible. Even the kids that are struggling and not scoring high, but you're being responsible. I thank you. I love you. Thank you very much, guys. I mean, that shows your commitment to my class. Okay. Well, thank you. See you very soon, hopefully.